Is with us. He's the former adjutant general in the state of West Virginia, and he's chairman of Natalie Tennant's campaign. That campaign is bringing Elizabeth Warren, the senator of Massachusetts, to the Eastern Panhandle today. Senator, you talk about the plight. General, you talk about the plight of working people in West Virginia. That's well known. One of the problems right now in West Virginia is with the threat to the coal industry from competing natural gas, from just industry swings back and forth, and of course EPA regulations. Elizabeth Warren is a staunch supporter of President Obama's EPA plan. In fact, after the EPA revealed its plan to cut power plant emissions by 30%, she said on the Senate floor, quote, "We know enough to know that reducing carbon pollution from coal plant emissions will make a real difference in the fight against climate change." Now, how does that reconcile with Natalie Tennant's views on coal?
Well, Natalie does not support Elizabeth Warren's point of view when it comes to the coal industry and the working miners in the state of West Virginia. And her and Capito's stance to the coal industry are the same. If either one are elected, they're going to fight the Obama administration and EPA for coal mining jobs in the state of West Virginia. The difference between the two candidates is that Natalie Tennant will not only defend the coal industry, but she will in turn try to defend and help the working miners. And Shelley will support the coal industry, but she's never really been a supporter of the miners. And the Paul Ryan budget that she supports and voted for would take MSHA back to the amount of inspectors before the Sago mine disaster. And the Upper Big Branch mine disaster, and Senator Byrd came up with the Robert C. Byrd Coal Mine Safety Act. Shelley Moore Capito voted against that. Natalie Tennant supports it. She supports not only the coal industry, but the miners who work in the coal industry. And if the Ryan budget takes $100 million out of the Black Lung Fund, what happens to our disabled coal miners who are out there struggling with their lives that need black lung to live on?
General, the fact remains, I understand all that, the fact remains, and you know this because you're obviously pretty well tuned in, that Elizabeth Warren happens to be one of the most progressive/liberal members of the United States Senate. The Republicans are having a field day with this, and they're putting out information pointing out that she supports the EPA's new rules on carbon emissions. She's against the Keystone Pipeline. She supported a carbon tax. She supports the Affordable Health Care Act, which Tennant has questions about. She's a little unclear on where she is on that. And that she's a rather partisan individual. So isn't there also a downside? Isn't there also a risk to having Warren here today for Natalie Tennant?
Well, there's always a risk, no matter whom you bring into the state, because there's different views from different candidates. Natalie Tennant does not agree with all the stances and the things that Elizabeth Warren stands for. You know,